FabMo is a fabric recycling and repurposing, and it's called FabMo because it's fabric and more. So we don't just have fabric, and this is fabric from the San Francisco Design Center, so it's generally speaking upholstery type fabrics, curtaining, upholstery for chairs and couches and that kind of thing, but some really fine upscale, fine velvets and silks and heavy vinyls and all that sort of thing. So when their samples are discontinued and you can no longer buy them, then they have to discard these samples, and they give them to us because otherwise they would go in the landfill. And we advertise them. Now there's not just fabric, there's carpets and tile and architectural things like curtain rods and all kinds of things. We never know what we're going to get that they're throwing away. Beautiful things that are many hundreds of dollars each, but they're samples, so there's just a few of them. You can't make a whole display out of them or anything. But people who make clothes and handbags and mosaics and things value these beautiful things and saves them from going to the landfill. So we keep them in our warehouse, sort them, and twice a month invite people to come and select what they want from them and make a donation. And that's how we pay our rent, which is considerable, by the way.
Mm. So it's a fabulous circular economy kind of strategy.
Yeah.
And how come you came to be involved?
Well, I was invited to one of the events at the Cranch's home. They're our founders. And I was there, and Jonathan had people coming into his house that he didn't know. And his wife was there, and I said to him, if you ever are here on your own, call me and I'll come over and help, because, not one person can keep an eye on all of this, and you've got all these strangers coming in and out of your home. And so the very next week he called and said, Hannah has to cater something. Can you come? And I said yes. So I'm the first volunteer.
That's excellent. And now you're the treasurer?
And now I'm the treasurer. And that's mainly because there weren't many of us to start with, and everybody had to do something. But I got roped into that, and I'm still doing it.
You're obviously driven by sustainability with it?
Oh, yes. I believe very much in FabMo's mission, which is to, teach people about sustainability and as well as keeping things out of the landfill.
And with your upbringing, like just reflecting a bit on your clothes and how you grew up. You're from New Zealand.
Yes, I'm from New Zealand. I came to the United States in the late 1980s, and my husband got a job here and couldn't refuse it. But my background in New Zealand, when growing up, I was born in 1946, so after the war, people in New Zealand were made do with what they had, and I became accustomed to that. And I've always made do and made my own clothes and that sort of thing. And when I came here, I just continued in the same way, mildly disapproving of the consumer economy sometimes, but not embracing it myself. So I try to be mindful of what I buy and not buy too much. And coming to FabMo has taught me a lot, because we get a lot of donations from some people who say, oh, great Aunt Ethel has died or gone to a rest home or something, and we've got her stuff. Will you take it? And it is amazing the things that one person can accumulate in their life. And that has cured me, I think, of hoarding things, if I needed curing. But it's a real eye-opener to see what people can gather. And let me tell you, everybody should stop right now and think about what they're doing.
And do you feel, by being more hands-on with your clothes and aware of, and mending and that sort of thing, that it makes you more conscious of that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that when you realise you can mend something and you don't have to throw it away and you can get more wear out of it, then yes, that's important. That's important. Once upon a time, everybody mended their clothes, and now they're learning to do that again, thank goodness.
So there's a bit of lost skill in between then, is
there?
Yes,
I think so. Lost skill, and also, in New Zealand when I was a child, there wasn't, everything got brought in by ship. we're an island far from anywhere else, and so you did share and make do. And here there is so much that you can consume. You know, mending a t-shirt when you can go out and buy another one for a couple of dollars seems like not worth it, but it really is.
And do you think younger people are more aware of that now, what they're inheriting?
I do think younger people are aware of it now, and they also aren't ashamed to wear something that's been visibly mended. Visible mending is becoming quite fashionable, and that's good. Fashion, you know, if fashion's going to drive sustainability, I'll take it.
Okay, so we're here at FabMo. We're just chatting to Catherine about how she's getting more involved with her wardrobe these days. So can you tell us some of the things that you're starting to get interested in terms of being more creative with what you're wearing?
Sure. I've recently started to get reinterested in dyeing fabrics, and I've been going through my closet, and rather than giving things away, it's like, well, what can I paint or a block print on it or dye it completely a different color and cut it up, reconfigure it, and that's a very exciting prospect. I'm looking forward to seeing what I create with a couple of shirts and see what comes out.
And you're already mending your jeans as well?
Oh yes, been mending jeans, saving old linens, printing on those, see what I can do.
And so you do identify as a creative person, and that is now coming back out later in life?
I do. I always have been creative, have always made things, come from a very supportive family. I was an art major in college, a costume designer in college, but I've always been making things with many, many different materials.
And the resources at FabMo are inspiring you too?
Oh, they are, very much so. I've developed quite a load of source material to make different pieces, mostly for myself right now, but the fabrics are beautiful and I'm so glad to have them to be able to play with and see what transpires.
And when you do wear things that you've made yourself, how does that make you feel?
Fabulous. Fabulous.
And you obviously put effort into them to get to that point. Are you happy to invest that?
Oh, by all means. I've been making my own clothes since I was in second grade and making clothes for friends my whole life. Some I've been paid for, some I haven't. It doesn't matter. I've learned to drape on my own, and I've always been the one who wears sort of different clothes everywhere, and I just love it.
Now, Melissa, can you tell me a little bit about what motivates you to volunteer here?
My reasons are selfish in that I love to see and touch the fabric and get to have a relationship with these beautiful materials that I used to work with and that I miss, and I get just so much sensual pleasure out of that. That's why I volunteer here. Yeah.
So you're borrowing rather than
I am
buying.
borrowing other people's beauty. Yes.
Yeah. So you're motivated by sustainability and not wanting to purchase too much?
In my own life, so I recognize like the environmental problem is larger than me sorting fabric or a volunteer organization like this existing. So the sustainability that I'm looking for is what's sustainable in my life, rather than trying to put this in the context of, I mean, this is definitely an environmental effort, but will this solve the world's climate problem or throwaway culture? No. But it solves my throwaway culture problem by putting myself in contact with what my values are and what my vision of who I want to be is, by working with, recycled or recyclable materials.
So what do you think might change those bigger problems or solve those bigger problems?
I mean, I know technology is important to reduce costs, which will make environmental approaches more competitive. And then cultural change, which I think is happening, because I would say cultural change, but
People making different choices.
people making different choices. But businesses are going to give people what they demand at the price they want, and so you both have to figure out how to get the price for more sustainable practices lowered, and also you have to figure out how to get people to demand a simpler lifestyle. And actually, most people in the world do. It's a first world problem to have desires that are in excess of what we really need to be happy. Because beauty and possession is a component, an important emotional component for people. So I'm not suggesting that we all wear sacks and be ascetics and have no desires, but it's like, where are your outer boundaries on that? This is coming from me, and I actually have the luxury of being able to spend as much money as I want on wasteful things, and I choose not to. And so it's easier for me to say that people should not want as much, because I have not ever experienced true want. And so I just want to make clear that there are limitations, that my perspective is only very unique to me, and not something that I can put on other people in terms of what their values should be or what their acquisitional needs are. People acquire things for emotional reasons, and that there is a place for needing to honor what that is for that person. Purchases are value judgments, and so I would never say to someone, you should not be doing that. I just would say, do you need to do that?
And how does this approach of yours play out in your wardrobe with the choices you make around clothing?
I have, so I live in a small home, and I don't have a lot of storage. So my wardrobe, and I don't have anywhere to particularly need to look fabulous for. Although even when I was an interior designer, I really had one outfit that I wore every day, and that was my look. That's what I did. It was very nice. It was, beautiful, but I didn't find a pressure to. In fact, listen to this. In 7th grade, so I was I was raised in a fairly wealthy community, and when I was in public school in 7th grade, I was so bothered by everybody being focused on their look and buying things right off the model because they could afford to. So they go to the department store, and then I'd see their full look coordinated, that I made a commitment to never wear, just like them, I was never going to wear an repeated outfit. But what I did is I started wearing my mother's, my father's, my grandfather's, my grandmother's clothes to school every day. So a different outfit every day from their wardrobe. And as time went on, it got increasingly bizarre, and I became increasingly a social outcast. But it was my way of saying, I don't care. Furthermore, I reject your consumerism, and I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it my way. So, yeah. So I guess this stuff comes from long ago.
And so your current wardrobe, you've got a bit of thrifted things, and they're all
I have
upcycled to suit yourself?
I have a mix of thrifted things, very basic things, like jeans and t-shirts, and a few very nice things that were like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I kind of have to have it. So, yeah.
So, are you able to satisfy your needs by buying, or do you have to get more involved with your clothes?
I generally don't see things that I want to buy because the fabric design is very important to me and the color is very important to me. When I do buy something, I have to remake it just for proportioning on my own body. I am reasonably satisfied by it in that sewing takes a lot of time to figure out what is it going to look, what's the pattern, what's the fabric, what's the type of fabric, and then make it and hope it fits the right way without having to pull it apart and remake it. So it's just a balance. I am hoping to do more of that in the future as time gets freed. So I'm trying to right now change my lifestyle so that I have more time to be doing creative things, including making my own clothes. So that is the plan. Yeah.
And what's your motivation? Like, part of it is for fit, but is it for well-being, or as well, that you might be taking more charge of your wardrobe?
It would be a manifestation, just like swimming at least 3 times a week or reading books. It would be a manifestation of my inner health to be doing that. And so yes, it does then reciprocate, but it's a complete lifestyle of self-care that sewing would be part of.